People say that a wedding veil can bring luck to a woman hoping for a child. But that's only if it hasn't absorbed the wrong energy. I always warn women not to treat symbols like toys. But few listen, until it's too late. That's exactly what happened to Yona. She came to me trembling like a reed in the wind. Young, maybe in her early 30s. Pretty. A little pale. Exhausted. My husband and I have tried everything, she told me. Doctors, treatments, prayers. We've been married 5 years and still can't have children. They say we're both perfectly healthy, but nothing works. I nodded and motioned for Kotia to bring her tea. Tell me about your dreams, I said. She blinked. I didn't mention dreams. You didn't have to. I see them clinging to your aura like wet sheets. Go on. Tell me. Yona shuddered. I've been having nightmares. The same one, over and over. I wake up gasping for breath. In the dream, I'm lying in bed, and something is wrapping around my face. I can't breathe. It's soft and heavy, like a veil. My own wedding veil. It's choking me. And when did these dreams start? About a week after I hung the veil above our bed. My neighbor told me it helps women get pregnant. I let out a slow sigh. Did she also tell you to cleanse it first? Yona shook her head. Of course not, I muttered. People are always so eager for magic, but they never respect it. Is it cursed? She whispered. No, but it's not clean. A veil collects energy. All the longing, sorrow, envy. Whatever was in the hearts of those who touched it. Especially if it's second-hand. I bought it at a boutique, Yona said quickly. It was vintage. Then it carries the weight of another woman's pain. Her eyes filled with tears. Can I fix it? I handed her a bundle of dried herbs and a glass jar. For 7 days at dawn, take the first water that runs from your tap. Before anyone else touches it. Dip the herbs into the jar, then sprinkle that water on the veil. 1 handful. Every day. Then bring the veil to me. And if I forget, then you risk anchoring those sorrows to your marriage. Yona nodded. I'll do it. I promise. But there's more, I warned. Keep your husband away from the morning water. Don't let him touch it, wash with it, or even drink it until you've finished your task. The ritual is delicate. She left with the bundle clutched to her chest. 6 days passed. No more dreams. No more nightmares. Yona began to feel light again, hopeful. But something else had shifted, something inside her husband. Vadim, she told me later, had grown cold, irritable, secretive. He came home late, and when he did, he was on his phone, texting in the dark. He started snapping at her for no reason. And then, on the 7th morning, the final day of the ritual, she caught him in the bathroom, washing his hands. Vadim, she cried. Did you touch the tap water? He looked up, confused. Yeah. I was just washing up. I told you not to. What is this nonsense again? He interrupted. Veils, water, now taps. Come on, Yona. Enough with this mumbo-jumbo. It's not nonsense. I was this close to finishing the ritual. He scoffed and walked out. That night, Yona told me everything. Her voice was shaking. Her face, drawn with guilt and confusion. Blind Madam Grace, she whispered. Something's wrong with him. I don't recognize my husband anymore. You let the water be touched before the 7th dawn, I said softly. Now the veils absorbed that disruption. But he didn't mean any harm. Intent doesn't always matter. Energy does. She pulled out her phone. He won't tell me who he's texting. He hides it. Shuts the laptop when I walk in. And he's angry all the time. He's never been like this. I studied her face, the ache behind her words. Do you believe he's seeing someone else? She bit her lip. I don't want to believe it. But, he's so distant now. He doesn't even touch me. And when I mentioned the veil, he laughed like I was insane. I stood up and turned toward the window. The air felt heavier tonight. There's a woman, I said. Yona's breath caught. Another woman? Not necessarily the kind you think, I said slowly. But yes. Someone whose energy is tied to him. Someone who got too close. Who? I don't see her face yet. But I see something in your home. A thread. You said he closes his laptop quickly. Yes. Next time, don't ask. Look. Yona hesitated. That's not right. Neither is letting your marriage collapse from secrets. She nodded. Bring me the veil on the 8th day, I said. And if you find anything else, messages, photos, bring those too. Yona's fingers trembled as she poured hot water into her cup. The steam curled into the air, but it didn't warm her. Not really. Not after what she'd seen in Vadim's eyes the night before. Something had shifted in him. The man who once called her his angel now barely looked her in the eyes. He snapped when she asked questions, stayed silent when she tried to share her worries. He never used to keep secrets. And now, he was nothing but locked screens and cold shoulders. And Yona. She had failed. She had let him touch the morning water before finishing the ritual. She hadn't protected the veil like I told her. That mistake, small as it may seem, was already weaving consequences through her life. I could feel it from the moment she walked away. But Yona didn't call me. Not yet. No, she tried to fix things her own way first. That night, when Vadim left the apartment for what he claimed was a late delivery issue, Yona sat in silence, waiting for the sound of the door clicking shut. Then she moved. She crept to his side of the desk. Opened his laptop. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She had promised herself she would never spy on him. Never become that kind of wife. But love, when twisted with fear, turns into something else. She searched. Most files were what she expected. Sales reports, invoices, logistics spreadsheets. Nothing out of the ordinary. She was about to close it, half ashamed, when a folder labeled Meetings caught her eye. Inside was a document. Thursday planning. At first, she saw only neutral things. Order lists, timelines. But then she saw the name. Oksana. The pit in her stomach grew heavier with every word she read. Thanks for yesterday. It meant more than I can say. It's rare to feel truly understood these days. Talking to you felt like home. Messages sent at odd hours. Some at midnight. Others past 2 in the morning. She scrolled faster. Emojis. Jokes. Screenshots of songs. Pictures of coffee cups. Blurry selfies. A shared sunset. The intimacy was unspoken, but undeniable. Yona slammed the laptop shut. She sat frozen for over an hour. Her ears were ringing. Her hands were cold. Her heart thudded a slow, painful beat against her ribs. That night, she didn't sleep. She lay in bed with Vadim beside her, his breaths deep and steady, as if nothing had changed. But everything had. By dawn, she had made her decision. She followed him. Yona waited 10 minutes after Vadim left the apartment, then pulled on her coat and called a cab. Her voice cracked as she gave the address of his office, but her resolve held. When the taxi passed the park near his store, she asked the driver to stop. Something tugged at her. And there he was. Vadim. Sitting on a bench with a woman. Shoulder to shoulder. Heads tilted close. Laughing. Oksana. Yona didn't need to see her face to know it was her. Auburn hair. Familiar posture. The way she touched his arm when she spoke. It wasn't friendship. It wasn't innocent. She dialed his number. From the corner of the bench, she saw Vadim check his phone. He stood and walked a few steps away. Hey, he said too casually. I can't talk. Delivery's late. I'll call you tonight. Lies. Yona ended the call before her voice betrayed her. She didn't confront him. Not yet. She waited. That evening, she lit candles, cooked his favorite dinner, set the table for two. She wore the same perfume she had on their wedding night. Vadim walked in late, looking surprised. "What's all this?" "Just us," she said. "Just trying." They ate in silence. Halfway through the meal, his phone buzzed again. He glanced at it, locked the screen. She sipped her wine. "Is that Oksana?" He froze. "What?" "I saw the emails. I saw you. In the park." He exhaled. "You went through my stuff?" "I needed answers." "She's just a friend. She's been struggling." "Struggling with what? Loneliness? Or temptation?" "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." But he couldn't. Or wouldn't. Silence stretched between them like a blade. Yona stood. "Go. If she makes you happier, go to her." Vadim didn't argue. He left. And Yona collapsed onto the floor, clutching the veil like a lifeline. She didn't know whether to scream, cry, or pray. That night, she called me. "I tried everything," she said. "I did the ritual. I followed your instructions. But it wasn't enough." "No," I said. "Because you didn't complete it. And because this was never just about the veil. I saw them together. I know what I saw. But I see something else," I said. "A shadow clings to Vadim. But it isn't Oksana's." Her breath caught. "Then whose is it?" "I don't know yet." "Bring me a photo of him." "And of her." "And bring the veil." The next morning, she arrived with all three. I laid the veil on my table, ran my hands along the stitching. Then I looked at the photographs. And what I saw made me go still. Vadim was in danger. But the threat wasn't from another woman's love. It was something much darker. Something coming from the past. I ran my fingers across the wedding veil Yona had brought me. The threads were thin, delicate, but they whispered. Objects remember. They hold emotions, soak up moments, drink in energy like cloth drinks in perfume. The veil had spent nights absorbing her dreams, her hope, and her fear. But there was something else stitched between the lace. A name. A wound. A shadow that wasn't hers. I looked at the photos she had handed me, one of Vadim, smiling weakly on their anniversary, and one of the other woman, Oksana. But it wasn't Oksana who disturbed me. It was the look in Vadim's eyes. "Tell me," I said, "how did you and your husband meet?" Yona hesitated. "Through an old boyfriend. His name was Mikhailu. We were young, barely 20. We were engaged, even. But then I met Vadim. It was like lightning. Everything changed." "And what happened to Mikhailu?" I left him. For Vadim. He took it badly. I heard later he got sick. Something with his heart. I felt terrible, but it was too late. I was in love." I nodded slowly. The veil trembled slightly under my hands. "Did you wear this veil on your wedding day?" "Yes." "That veil holds pain," I said. "Not yours. His. Mikhailu cursed you the day you left him. And your veil soaked up the curse like milk into bread. You didn't feel it then, but when you hung it above your bed, you invited it back into your life." Yona's face drained of color. "And now," I added, "it's returning everything it held on to. Grief, rage, loss. It's poisoning your love, driving Vadim away. And if we don't act soon, it will take more than your marriage." She trembled. "What do I do?" "You must find Mikhailu. Ask his forgiveness. Bring me his photo. Only he can release what was placed." "But what if he doesn't forgive me?" "Then we find another way. But you must try. Or this shadow will stay." Yona left my home with eyes burning like candles. She knew she'd broken someone once, and now the fragments were cutting into her own skin. 3 days passed before she returned, clutching a photo of a man with sharp cheekbones and sad eyes. Mikhailu. He had aged well, success written into the suit he wore. She told me how she'd found him, through old friends, online traces, the company he now owned. He had become someone powerful. I met with him, she said, voice shaking. I told him everything. I apologized. And he forgave me. I held the photo over the veil. The threads softened. Good. The veil is ready, I said. But Vadim is not. He is carrying something now. A different darkness. A secret that has nothing to do with Mikhailu. Yona's breath caught. You mean Oksana? I paused. No. I mean something deeper. She didn't understand, but her heart did. She went home, determined to speak to Vadim again. But he wasn't there. His phone was off. His coworkers said he'd taken leave a week ago. No one knew where he was. Yona's heart panicked. Her mind imagined the worst. And when she opened their shared documents drawer, she found it. A bank folder. Inside, loan papers. Vadim had taken out a large loan against their business, their home. Why? Yona called his number again and again. Left voicemails. Nothing. By the time she returned to me the next morning, she was in tears. I think he's in trouble, she said. Real trouble. I listened. The veil trembled again. Bring me one more photo, I said. Yours and Vadim's together. I will look. She did. I placed the photo on the veil and closed my hands over them. The room darkened. In the vision, I saw a hospital bed. 4 lines. Machines beeping like a slow ticking clock. And beside the bed, a woman with auburn hair. Oksana, I said aloud. Yona flinched. I knew it. But I shook my head. She's not the problem. She's not a threat. She's trying to save him. Yona blinked. What? Vadim is ill. That's why he took the loan. That's why he's hiding. He didn't want you to know. The words fell like stones between us. He thought if he told you, he'd burden you. That you'd suffer. So he chose to suffer alone. Yona covered her mouth. Now she understood. It wasn't betrayal that had built a wall between them. It was fear. And pain. And love. Twisted into silence. You must go to him, I said. Now. But I don't know where he is. You will. Because love always knows the path. And now the veil no longer trembled. It was still. Yona returned the next morning, her steps heavy but purposeful. She had found him. I went to the hospital, she told me. Oksana works there. Oncology department. Vadim was her patient. Her voice trembled. He didn't tell me because he didn't want me to suffer. But he almost died alone. She clutched the wedding veil tightly in her hands. It looked worn now, like a curtain from another life. The lace was no longer white but faintly gray, as if it had aged with their sorrow. I begged him to come home, she said. I told him I love him. That I'd stand beside him, no matter what. That I forgave him. And myself. And did he believe you? I asked. Tears filled her eyes. Yes. He cried. We both did. I nodded. Then it is time. I took the veil from her hands, placed it in a wooden box carved with protective symbols, and whispered words only the old ones knew. The air in my room thickened, like a held breath, then slowly eased. The curse is gone, I told her. Mikhailu's pain has been released. The veil no longer holds darkness. Yona looked relieved, but haunted still. There's more, she said. I found loan papers in his drawer before I knew about the hospital. I thought he was cheating. I accused him of horrible things. Love without trust, I said softly, is a tree without roots. But now you see him clearly. She nodded. Yes. And I see myself clearly too. She had faced her shadows, sought forgiveness, and chosen compassion over pride. That kind of woman can withstand anything. I reached beneath my table and pulled out a vial, crystal clear, with 3 small seeds inside. Plant these in your garden, I said. In 7 days, the first bud will bloom. That is your sign. Sign of what? That the soul is ready to receive. That what was closed will open. She clutched the vial to her chest. Do you think I'll ever be a mother? I smiled. The heart makes room long before the body does. If you are meant to carry life, life will find its way. Weeks passed before I saw Yona again. When she returned, her smile lit up the room like morning sun. She wore no makeup, no jewelry, just peace. He's home, she said. He's recovering well. The worst is over. And the seeds. They bloomed. Right on the 7th day. Little blue flowers. I think they're forget-me-nots. A good sign. She took a deep breath. There's something else. I waited. I'm pregnant. I closed my eyes and whispered thanks to the unseen ones. Sometimes, the road to healing is not through medicine or logic or rituals alone, but through surrender. Through facing the pain we cause others. Through forgiveness. Through love. And Yona had walked every step of that road with trembling feet. And a brave heart. Before she left, I gave her the now cleansed veil, folded in silk. Keep it safe, I said. But never hang it again. She smiled. I won't. I've learned my lesson. As the door closed behind her, I turned to the fire and whispered. She has found her way back. And perhaps in doing so, she showed others how to do the same.